Chapter 2, Section 2.3, Multiplying Fractions. In this section, you'll learn how to multiply fractions. You need to know how to multiply fractions in order to learn how to divide, add, and subtract fractions. History. Since there was no currency in ancient Egypt, portions of land, bread, and beer were the most commonly accepted method of payment for goods and services. To determine how to divide these commodities for payment, Egyptians developed an extensive use of fractions. Since bread and beer were the staples of the Egyptian diet, fractions were also widely used in Egyptian bread and beer recipes. The Egyptian concept of fractions involved unit fractions, fractions with a 1 in the numerator, like 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, etc. Their symbol for a fraction was a special elongated oval placed over the top of the integer, indicating it was the equivalent of the denominator in our modern notation. To express a fraction like 2/3, Egyptians wrote 1/3 plus 1/3. To make calculations with fractions easier, Egyptian mathematicians created reference tables listing the equivalent sums of unit fractions for other fractions, like 2/3, 2/5, 2/7, etc. For example, one surviving text from around 1650 BC, known as the Egyptian mathematical leather roll, contains 26 sums of equivalent unit fractions for fractions with 2 in the numerator and odd values of 3 to 101 in the denominator. Multiplying fractions is as easy as multiplying whole numbers, because that's all you really do. It's a good idea to simplify the fractions before you multiply, because calculations are easier with smaller numbers. To multiply fractions, 1. Simplify the fractions, if not in lowest terms. 2. Multiply the numerators of the fractions to get the new numerator. 3. Multiply the denominators of the fractions to get the new denominator. 4. Simplify the resulting fraction if possible. Example 2.3.1. Find the product of 3/4 times 2/3. Step 1. Both fractions are in lowest terms, so we don't have to simplify. Multiply the numerators to get the new numerator. Step 2. We multiply the numerators 3 times 2 to get the new numerator of 6. Multiply the denominators to get the new denominator. Step 3. We multiply the denominators 4 times 3 to get the new denominator of 12. Step 4. We simplify the resulting fraction since it's not in lowest terms. Here's a shortcut for solving example 2.3.1. Step 1. Both fractions are in lowest terms, so we don't have to simplify. But we can see that once we multiply, the numerators and denominators will have a common factor of 3. We divide a number in the numerator and denominator by 3. We can also see that the numerator and denominator will have a common factor of 2. We divide the numerator by 2 to get 1, and the denominator by 2 to get 2. Step 2 and 3. Now multiply the resulting factors in the numerators and denominators. Step 4. Because we used the shortcut, the fraction is already in lowest terms, so we don't have to simplify. Example 2.3.2. Find the product of 5/8 times 4/10. Step 1. The first fraction is in lowest terms. We can simplify the second fraction by dividing the numerator and denominator by the common factor of 2. Step 2. We multiply the numerators 5 times 2 to get the new numerator of 10. Step 3. We multiply the denominators 8 times 5 to get the new denominator of 40. Step 4. We divide the numerator and denominator by 10 to simplify the resulting fraction, since it's not in lowest terms. Here's a shortcut for solving example 2.3.2. After we simplify the second fraction, we can see that once we multiply, the numerators and denominators will have a common factor of 5. We divide by 5 in the numerator and denominator to get a factor of 1. We can also see that the numerator and denominator will have a common factor of 2. We divide the 2 in the numerator by 2 and the 8 in the denominator by 2. Step 2 and 3. Now multiply the resulting factors in the numerators and denominators. Step 4. Because we used the shortcut to eliminate all common factors, the fraction is in lowest terms, so we don't have to simplify. Now try some practices. Excellent job! Yes, you are right. Yes, you are right.